All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol AAPL, Apple Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all my first-time viewers and investors, and to all my subscribers, welcome back. Let's jump into this chart. So Apple has had a bearish run. I've been stating it in every video, but any first-time viewer and investor, I want you guys to be aware, if you haven't heard already, that 138 is a very important pivotal moment for the bulls. 138 needs to be broken through. I know it says 44 there. It's 138 and some change. I mean, when the time comes closer, I'd narrow it down to the T. But right now, just to speak in a broader term, because it's so far away from where we're at after closing at 115.60, 138, to round it down, is a very important number for the bulls to break through it and hit newer highs. Now, from that point, it started to become very bearish, and it hit newer lows to the point that it reached 103, and the second lowest point was 104. From 103, it had a rise up at 112, and it fell again to 104. And from 104, this has been rising, and to the point that it fell into bearish territory today, and it actually broke back through, and it broke through resistance, and it hit newer highs, and it closed off at 115.60. So Apple is having a slight recovery, and as always, I've been stating, if 103 gets broken through, this would see new lows and newer support levels. Now, here we are seeing that resistance was broken through after support was slightly broken through, and quickly the bulls reappeared and broke through the narrow stretch. It wasn't such a broad stretch, but still, they fell into 50-day moving average, below it, into bearish territory, and they brought themselves up, broke through the resistance, and hit newer highs, leveling off in bullish territory. So very interesting day for Apple, and we're going to see what is important for tomorrow. So the highest point reached is our resistance, and we're going to talk about the lowest point reached after reaching these highs, and where the 50-day moving average lies right now, and what does that mean for every investor taking a look at this chart. So Apple closed off again at 115.60, and the 50-day moving average is 114.75. If 114.75 gets broken through, the bears accomplish to get back into their territory and bring this one down, breaking through support and getting into bearish territory. So when we're below it, the bears are in control, but right now the bulls have managed to bring themselves back up and level off above it, so the bulls are in control right now. But this had a slight dip, and the question is, could the bulls build momentum from here? And the tug of war will be interesting for tomorrow. So let's look at what the bulls need to do to continue to hit newer highs, work themselves up to newer resistance levels. So the highest point in this run is 117.21. That needs to be broken through. This is not something that, oh, the bulls can slightly break through. Let's just say this second highest point at 116.90, or a little bit above that at 116.99, and they could probably be on newer highs and working themselves up. No. The bulls need to break through 117.24, turn that into a support to hit newer highs and newer resistance levels, and pull themselves further away from the 50-day moving average of 114.75 in an upward direction. The bulls need to attain that and turn that into a support, break through the resistance, and hit and reach newer highs. If they're capable of doing that, well, then they're going to work their way up to newer highs up here at the point of 118.93, closer to 119. Now, they have accomplished to break through one of the resistance levels that I stated in one of my earlier videos, which was close up here to 116.33, and we clearly see that, but they fell slightly below it right after that bearish run. So if they are able to break through this resistance level, turn that into a support, they can finally break through this once again, and then start to work their way up to focus on the next one. But before all of that, right now, the bulls are in bullish territory. They've managed to level this off, even though the bears appeared above the 50-day moving average, but the bulls need to break through 117.24, turn that into a support, and work their way up. Now, on the other hand, the bears have reappeared, and the bears are going to try to not stop. The tug of war, like I said, is going to be interesting because the bears are going to do everything they can to bring this one down and get closer to the 50-day moving average. Well, how do they do that? Well, the lowest point in this bearish run is our support level here at 114.99, and the bears are going to try to tear through it and bring this down to newer lows. So I want to emphasize how important it is to pay close attention to how this stock is reacting once it touches 114.99. Are the bulls reappearing and using it as support, right? They can bring it down, slightly touch it, and bounce back up. Or is it being torn through? Because between 114.99 and 114.75, which is our 50-day moving average, that's a really small window to go ahead and pay close attention to how the stock is reacting and how quickly is it going to get into bearish territory, or how quickly is it going to stay in bullish territory. So very important to keep an eye on 114.99 and how the stock is behaving if it crosses it, and how quickly are the bears getting themselves closer to 114.75 and getting themselves down into bearish territory. If they accomplish both things, the bears didn't just break through support, they didn't just break through the 50-day moving average, but they have gained control, getting deeper into bearish territory at that point and trying to tear this down. If that does come to happen, the lowest point to keep an eye on, which is this dip right here before this bullish run and recovery, is way down here at 113.13. I write it down just to have it as a point of reference for the next coming days and even for tomorrow, because the volatility here was crazy. It dipped and it rose up and it's dipping right now. And if these support levels and the 50-day moving average does get crossed, I'd pay very close attention to how quickly the bears are trying to dominate this one. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. But don't forget to click on the bell. By clicking on the bell, you turn on all notifications to not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community. And thank you guys for watching this one. At the end of this video, there's going to be a pop-up video. And in that video, there's going to be information about the S&P 500 index. Now, why the S&P 500 index? Well, I've come to realize that there are scheduled dates of the Federal Reserve, which I go ahead and talk about in further detail in the video. So I highly recommend checking it out. But just to give you a brief summary, there are scheduled dates that the Federal Reserve is pumping the market. The S&P 500 index is rising several points on these specific dates. And by the S&P 500 rising, which is the index of the 500 companies, within that, there are 500 ticker symbols to choose from. And many of them are rising with it. And they're rising anywhere from 30 cents to $3 per share. So you have to check out the video to understand more of what I'm saying. But I'm not here to tell you guys to buy, sell, or hold. I'm just here to enlighten every investor on something that many people are overlooking or unaware of. And it's an opportunity to make profits. I know 30 cents to $3 doesn't sound like a lot. But like I always say, per share, that adds up, and profits are profits. So check out the video. Click on the link, or it should be popping up in just a second, in a few seconds from now. If it hasn't already, click on it. Don't miss out on the information. And of course, you have to do your due diligence and do your research to make your own rational decisions. I'm just here to enlighten you guys on the great news that there's an opportunity to maximize profits and minimize losses. Check it out. Thank you guys once again for watching, and let's make some money.